This UFL Picks Week 9 edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Edge Boost, the bank account built for bettors. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with promo code SGPN and get a $25 deposit bonus.
Hey, it's Scooby right here, aka Shark Dog, listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Fucking shine box.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog.
Hello, Sean.
Hello. What's happening?
Very excited to talk about the UFL,
the United Football League. Yeah, we're just watching VSiN live. Derek announced the Circa Million contest, Circa Survivor. So Circa Million coming in at $6 million guarantee. I think you nailed that, Ryan, that they would run back to 6 million.
Seemed easy when they didn't hit it last year.
And then, they went over on Survivor, so they upped that guarantee up to $15 million for $21 million. And then we had heard rumblings about a new high stakes Circa Survivor, and they did it. They will be doing a high stakes, much higher than I thought. I would have guessed $25K, $100,000 entry fee. You can get up to 2 entries. The prize, they're guaranteeing 1.5 million. I don't know how many are they going to go over 1.5 million, Ryan?
2 entry max. So I don't know. I mean, if you max entered Survivor last year, you were putting in 10K.
Yeah. So then you and a couple of your other,
how many people are maxing? I would say the number is probably like 10 to 20% of that population.
Yes, and
so I would say actually yes. The answer is going to be yes, and I think you're also going to get random rich people.
This might bring in some random
sports celebrity. Yeah, like you might. It's big enough to poker players.
Yep.
You know, like the types who have to be in the Rufus Peabodys of the world, who will have to be in this. I would imagine someone like that will just have to be in this, or they're not who they say they are.
Yeah,
right?
You're not a big dog if you're not getting in. And Kramer and I are starting the early discussions about maybe we pool.
Have the lawyers cleared this yet?
Yeah, there's a lot of legal hurdles, but maybe I don't have 100K sitting around to play in Survivor, but I know a bunch of DGens, and maybe there's a system where if we find 100 people, they each chip in 1K. They have they get 1 share of the winnings. We figure out a voting system so that you get, you're able to weigh in on what the pick should be.
In my mind, we have
I feel like
larger
we could get
interest.
Yeah. So maybe Kramer and I, a couple more percent. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. I think we treat it like a public company where a share equals a vote.
Yeah.
We have a democratic process to pick the teams. Hopefully that doesn't land us into the chalk. Although game theory wise, we were talking about it before the show. Maybe the chalk's not so scary when you're only playing 20 other people.
Yeah. And so a lot to get, I'm sure we'll be talking more about it on the VSiN show. We talked Circa strategy on yesterday's episode already, some early picks there. And of course, if you're
real quick, Sean, what's more fun, raising 100K and doing the Survivor, or raising 100K and putting it on a future?
I know. Part of me was like, well, instead of Survivor, we could just put it on, a win total or something like that.
We have discussed the idea of a fund in the past where we pool money and have like some bets in there, but 100K would be fun.
Calling all investors. It would just be great to call people investors.
You think there's anyone that would be interested in investing in this kind of thing?
Well, again, I'm putting it out early. I know it's a UFL podcast, but if you're interested in investing,
this might be in a good
hit
overlap.
us up. We're going to test the waters here, get a pulse, see where we're at. Of course, we will be playing the regular Circa Survivor, Circa Million. Of course, go to footballcontest.com. Use promo code SGP. You save $50 on the proxy fees. If you plan on going to Circa at all, you can use promo code SGP. 15, get 50% off your stay. And of course, if you hadn't entered the contest already, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/circa, you can win a free draft party for your entire draft. You and 11 friends, 2-night stay, $5,000 at the cabana party, stadium swim. You get the open bar, the legacy club, limo to and from. It is again, Circa's awesome. Cannot wait to be back. So get started over there. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CIRCA. And if you see Derek, let him know we sent you. And of course, we're also brought to you by Edge Boost. Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved. No usage fees, no minimum. Earn cashback rewards. If you're in a state where you're depositing to these apps a bunch or withdrawing, and you're not earning cashback rewards, what are you doing? Love me the cashback rewards, because then it's great. The rewards, you don't have to do anything to claim them. You just wake up first of the month, you get an email saying, "Hey, your Edge Boost balance has been adjusted," and they toss whatever you earned that month in there, and then you can use that to get down on wherever Edge Boost is accepted. Tons of places, obviously DFS sports books. Casinos, ATMs, a lot of places. And again, 100% approval at all betting deposits. Time today, edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN, deposit 25 and Edge Boost will match the deposit. Edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. Joining us on the line, you know him, you love him, from the UFL Gambling Podcast, the CFL Gambling Podcast, and the College Experience, Colby Dant, aka Pick Dundee. What's happening, Colby?
I mean, I had the craziest thing on the intro. I know you guys couldn't hear me when I was talking to you guys because I was about to pour. Hi, by the way, and I was about to pour this Peruvian whiskey that I was gifted.
Ooh,
and a fly landed on my ice. I had my ice ready to, like 10 cubes in there, and a fly lands on there, freezes, stuck. Then I shake it a little bit. It falls further into that ice cube.
Oh no!
Right, further in there was like a little divot. Right, and then though I panicked because it was going to slide into my other ice cubes, and it was very epic to see a frozen fly just right away.
This is like a start of an action movie. Or like a superhero movie where this fly like has certain powers.
Doing a reading with Christopher Walken.
Colby, what is going on over there?
Just sipping that beautiful whiskey you guys gave me for Christmas.
No, you got it from Peru. I don't know what kind of
565. Do I still have a lisp?
Kramer, check his connection because it sounded extra lispy over there.
He told us before the show it was hard wired.
Okay.
I think Blake Bortles is better than Dak Prescott.
Extra,
I still agree, Colby, but we're talking UFL. Some reason
that Blake Bortles take is all time.
Blake Bortles never ended up in the UFL. Colby, do you think there was some talk? Caleb Williams was talking. Now we have a lot of UFL news to get up to up top. If you missed the the Days of Our League UFL edition, which we'll play that in just a second. Colby, I know you don't follow the best football league in the world, the National Football League, but Caleb Williams, there was like a report of book. He didn't want to play for the Bears. He was considering his options, and one of his options was he was considering playing in the UFL last year instead of going straight to the NFL, and then essentially avoiding the draft altogether and then becoming a free agent. Did you see that UFL news?
I did, and I'm sure The Rock talked him off going to the UFL.
It's like, don't do it. Don't do it
for the league. It's just too. Don't do that. We bounce both quarterbacks, so you know what I mean. Like Bryce Perkins already tearing it up. And we put Danny Etling in every other game, but
that would be if the Michigan Panthers head coach was starting Danny Etling over Caleb Williams. That would be awesome. Or if like Caleb Williams was involved in one of these two quarterback systems, that would be UFL at its finest.
No, but what? First off, I'm very skeptical of Caleb Williams and his leadership as far as who is his agent. This sounds like Ricky Williams Master P shit going on here. But
why? Okay, if that was true, fine. But then why completely alienate your fan base by like giving this interview and putting that out there? It's not like
so many questions.
It's not like a reporter like came across these documents. Caleb Williams and his dad did an interview and was throwing the old coach under the bus, but also the franchise. You got to go out there and play for this team. What I don't understand the strategy there, Kramer. What am I?
And it's not like it was in Jacksonville. It's the Chicago Bears. Like they will.
It seemed like he really hated the head coach the Waldron essentially.
It does sound
the OC, but still.
So it does seem like some of it is probably warranted.
Yeah.
There was some incompetence going on. I think also this is just how like elite kids and their families operate now with club sports. So why would we expect it to change? Thirdly, I think Bears fans probably relate to Caleb Williams.
Yeah, but why? I agree.
But now
that
the situation's changed. The coach came over that has intelligence, and I think a lot of Bears fans see this as it wasn't a great spot
right now, though. But wait until he has a 3 interception game.
Oh, I agree. I agree with you guys. It's not a good look. I'm just explaining it to you. Like in some ways, it's refreshingly transparent.
Yeah.
Of Caleb. If anything, Caleb does seem to have some naivete to him.
Well, there's so many questions here because we knew the Bears were going to take a quarterback, right? I mean, I felt like that was a pretty sure thing.
Yeah.
So definitely. He could have came back to USC for a bunch of money, but I'm assuming he already signed with an agent, so you can't do that in college football. So the CFL offers way more money to their quarterbacks than the UFL. Like I understand the Canadian tax is crazy, but you can be a millionaire quarterback in the CFL. I mean, Rocket Ishmael did this shit in the 90s. I know he wasn't a QB, but I'm saying like this wouldn't be the first time that a NFL player had left for the CFL because they offer way more money than the UFL. What do you make? 50 grand?
Also, we just have. I mean, we're seeing this with Trey Hendrickson. The reality is that when you choose to opt out of the NFL then opts out on you. Yeah, basically,
players really don't have. I mean, compared to the other leagues, you really don't have much leverage. And yeah, sure, you could maybe choose your destination by sitting out a year, but I mean, God forbid you have a bad injury playing for a UFL team when you leave. All the rookie contract for the number 1 pick overall is still a shit ton of money,
it's fully guaranteed.
Yeah, that you definitely get in your bank account no matter what. So to walk away from that so you can play for the Vikings instead of the Bears is
also he got his way.
Crazy.
Also he got his way. All the incompetent coaches are no longer there. They went out and got a coach that I'm guessing he's very happy.
Still,
with.
If he struggles, the Bears fans, why give him that ammo?
Yeah,
why give him that ammo? Just wait till you retire.
I'll say this: the only thing that I disagree with you on is I think Bears fans are less mad at Caleb Williams than you think. I think if
right
anything
now though,
yeah. To Colby's point, if they don't hit if they don't get going, let's ask J-Mark. J-Mark was skeptical of the Caleb Williams draft pick from the beginning.
J-Mark doesn't like Caleb Williams.
Yeah, I'm saying why give the fan base any sort of ammo? It just makes no sense.
Yeah.
And
again,
but to your point, Ryan,
naively transparent.
Yeah, but to your point, I think there are a lot of self-hating Bears fans. There are a lot of Bears fans who hated the OC, hated Eberflus, which is fine. Kick the guy on the way out, sure. But to Colby's point, if you struggle, there's all that stuff is coming back at you.
Agreed.
Well, especially in a city like that. Like I said, if you were playing for the Texans or the Jags, or the Titans, like who gives a fuck?
Yeah, I got a hot take.
Chicago will make you.
I disagree with that take. Chicago is a vastly overrated sports town. Why do we always hear about if it's so tough to do something somewhere, you can't suck for this much amount of time.
I think they're just a Midwest sports team where they're very forgiving. Like the Cubs have sucked for how long, or right? Like Cubs have only won World Series. Cubs will still sell out. Like they're just a very forgiving fan
The
base.
best thing they have going for them is that like the vibe in the city when a Chicago team is doing well is like any big city team. It's very powerful.
Yeah.
The Blackhawks, the Bulls, like that's fine. But I'm just saying they're not like, it doesn't strike me as a Bears town. And it probably because they haven't. I've been to Chicago a handful of times during like an overlap between football, hockey, and basketball season. And sure, the Bears have been down for a bit, but the vibe when there was a hockey or basketball game versus like a Sunday like before the Bears played at Soldier, two different levels of excitement.
I disagree.
I think it's mostly a Bears town, and then Cubs. I mean, Bulls when they were good, certainly, but they haven't.
The
Bulls are
NFL
like third on the totem pole. There.
The NFL,
I think it's Cubs Bears.
Oh, I would love to hear what real Chicago people think here. I think the Bulls are the Bears are anchored by the fact that it is an NFL's king.
Yeah,
but I think if all the teams are good in Chicago, where would the Bears rank compared to the others? I don't think it would be.
Oh, dude, if the Bears are in a Super Bowl, are you kidding me?
I'd love to hear.
The only team that would be close would be the Cubs.
I'd love to hear what people have to say.
Bears. I mean, it's been a while since the Bears have been in the playoff games, but dude, they were going nuts when they had Jay Cutler. I still know guys that are like in love. You know, Jay Cutler was the best quarterback we ever had.
Maybe I'm wrong. I'd love to hear what people
I
from
think
the
you're wrong.
Okay,
Chicago.
This reminds me of your lame UCLA fans against USC fans, where USC fans are way more passionate than UCLA fans.
No, that's not it. I still agree with my take on that.
That's insane. That's an insane take.
All right, we do have to do a little days of our league because the drama never ends in the United Football League.
Like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our league.
Wow, an exciting home game for the Brahmas. Just if you don't know, all the games this week and next week completely meaningless for playoff seeding.
No,
but hey, at least the Brahmas have a home game. No, wait, they forgot to book the stadium, and now they're moving it to St. Louis. Colby, get us up to speed with all the drama surrounding the United Football League.
I mean, I'm just gonna say, guys, it's really, really hard for me to dislike a spring league, and they have checked every box to turning this into the most bullshit league. So I thought it was a great presser. I'm gonna let you. I know you asked me a direct question. I will get to that in a second, but the fact that they're playing the championship game in St. Louis. They announced that like mid-season for the second straight year, even though no one went last year because the St. Louis Battlebirds didn't make it.
Yeah,
right?
Come on.
And they did it again instead of doing a neutral site game, which I thought we talked about a couple episodes ago. But then they moved it. So the championship game within not for the title, but the semis, which is the XFL championship and the USFL championship, both those divisions. They don't have Ford Field locked up, which happened last year, by the way, right?
How have they not figured this out?
There was a Wayne State graduation last year that ruined their playoff home game at Ford Field in a stadium they've never even came remotely close to packing. And there's countless stadiums within like an hour to 2 hour shit. With one college stadium within 20 minutes that I
should
think
just
would make
play
a
at
lot
that
more
Northwestern
sense.
temporary stadium. That thing was awesome.
That would be awesome. Then so there's that situation going on. So that Michigan game this weekend against Birmingham, which you would think, hey, since they've came back as a league, the USFL second go around / UFL, Michigan is yet to beat Birmingham. They seem to be like the top team. What a big game this would be this weekend. No, because there's no stakes. Because guess what? That game is in Birmingham, no matter what, right? Because Ford Field is
can't
booked.
get home field.
Yes.
Well, it's real quick. I mean, part of the situation, and we've talked about it, is do you just all play these games in a neutral site, or do you have these home fan, like home teams where you actually play the home games? I've always been an advocate of have the home teams, have the home fans, because that actually makes sense. But you need them in like tiny stadiums in places. I feel like we're going backwards. Like the AAF. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the Kraken or the Sea Dragons, the Hot Shots, like I feel like they had attendance. Am I crazy?
They did.
No, they did. And I think, I mean, I remember like Birmingham Iron had a much better crowd than the Stallions ever did. But once again, this is why it's also dumb to go to these markets. Birmingham's had like 20 teams over the past like 20 years or 20 spring leagues. So I think the fans don't want to invest knowing that there's no return because the league's going to be over after like a year. So
this is also a product of like it not being some sort of grassroots league operation and a little bit too big business. Also, it just seems like the spring league business is grifting. And so if everyone is constantly trying to grift and not create a successful league, it makes sense that, why would you care how many people are coming to the stadium? Why would you care if you had to reschedule stuff and drive everyone to a city where maybe you're getting some kickback on hotel rooms? I literally said this out loud on the show last week, kind of in jest. It's what the youth sports world does. They have tournaments in cities, then they require you to either book rooms with certain hotels or pay an additional fee. I guarantee the UFL is doing some fucking funny business here. Because we know that we know, again, things we know, spring football leagues, all grifts, UFL clearly not trying to have success, And that again, and then in this very specific situation, you have a graduation week, which, by the way, if you want,
you have to see this coming. It's
it's
not like there was a hurricane and temporary shelter at Ford Field.
May 22nd through June 6th is graduation time at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, where they have all the city high schools graduate. Now, interestingly enough, the high school that is walking on the day that this game would be going on is Southside High School. They went 3-7 their football team last year, but
wait. I mean,
their head coach, Ricky Long, the 19th most winning high school football coach in the state of Texas. Everyone just learned a little bit something about the Southside Cardinals, but I think the fact that you don't plan to book, like you knowingly didn't do this. This wasn't a surprise. You said, we'll just cross this bridge when it gets there. And the plan obviously all along was redirect everything back to, it sounds like the only, we brought up the Alamo Dome, how it's not guaranteed for next year a week ago. It sounds like the only surprise was the Michigan situation because the stadium people said, fuck off, or are saying, fuck off. We don't want to do business with you. So for them to know this, have it pre-planned, and then the strategy be let's just like put some press releases out that week and move on with our lives because no one cares, solidifies that it's a pyramid scheme. Because why would you do this? In what world would this benefit anything?
Hang on though, because I want to explain in case you're coming in.
What do you mean? Was that too complicated?
Well, no. Like, so the reason why this is ridiculous is, there's so many angles at this. They tried to reroute the playoffs so that the St. Louis Battlehawks would definitely make the playoffs, right? And that got voted down between the coaches in the league, right?
Yeah.
So then after that, they put because the championship game's in St. Louis. That was their logic. Because last year, damn it, they got upset. They didn't make it. But if it makes it, we can sell it because it'll be like 20,000 fans. It'll be great on TV. So they tried to do that bullshit, which is ridiculous. Then now the championship game in the XFL conference, not the entire league's championship, basically the NFC championship or the AFC championship, right? So now they've made that decision because DC's home stadium, Aldi
MLS
Field,
soccer game, right?
Yes, MLS soccer game. But they asked Jordan Tamu and a few of the players at a press conference last week, what do you think they should do? And they said, well, our hub is in Arlington. Why don't we just play in Arlington? Because we've been the better team all year. I mean, for anyone that watches the league week in, week out, I think the DC Defenders have been better than St. Louis Battlehawks without question. So pending that they would win out and get the 1 seed, why not play it in Arlington? No, the league says it's going to be in St. Louis. And then a situation like this where it's pivotal in a way, it's supposed to be pivotal before these
yeah, I was gonna say nothing's
stadium
pivotal.
fiascos. Yeah. Now they give St. Louis a home game. They're supposed to be in San Antonio this year. They already played the Brahmas in St. Louis. I think it was week 2 or week 3. Now they're giving them again a home game. And it's like, how do you take the league seriously? Like, and I know the spring leagues have all had come with, it's a joke in a way, some of the stuff, but this one to me just is unbelievable on the level of
not having games in the regular season with like not having a place to play a game in the regular season and waiting to the last minute to reschedule it is insane. Like that.
Well, it's also they're doing everything they can to help St. Louis. We saw this before with a trade in this league a couple years ago with Luis Perez. The league's integrity is just completely shot. You know what I mean? Like it's they do whatever they want. That's the problem to me. It's the problem with a league owning every team. You should not be able to do that. You need private ownership, I think, to balance out the league. But it's ridiculous each week. And then we could talk about the next thing is like, I mean, all of us gambling, we're thinking Bryce Perkins is going to play. He's not even on the injury report last week, the best player in the league. And then he doesn't even get the start. And then they say he's got an ankle injury. Well, why wasn't he on the injury report? Well, and he can go if they need. Well, what the fuck does that mean? It's like, what are you talking about? Like, why? The league sucks, dude. It is a terrible fucking product. And there's no way to get around.
To your
that.
point, it's very obvious, and many leagues are figuring this out. But gambling is a great way to get eyes on your sport. But you have to have the injury stuff figured out. It's unacceptable to be a professional football league
and you can
ESPN.
Use
like you're affiliated with a betting company and a media company that
they do live in-game betting updates. Lean into the idea of like, hey, we're all owned by the same company. Well, we're going to provide to you guys gamblers very transparent injury reports. Why not?
Now, here's my belief is they had him not play because had Houston won the game, the playoff race would have still been. They still would have. Houston got eliminated by losing, right? Birmingham wouldn't have clinched then, so it would have made next week very interesting. And you say, well, why would you believe in a conspiracy theory like that? Have you seen this fucking league and what they've done to try to make teams win? They've controlled. So I do believe that because you can't tell me that he was all of a sudden a late scratch. There was no injury last week. I mean, yes, you could say theoretically in practice something happened, but then to say that he could go if need be. It was just ridiculous. I don't believe in anything they say. I don't believe. I truly believe they were trying to get the Houston Roughnecks to win the game. It didn't happen because Danny Etling and Michigan are still, their B team is still better than the Houston Roughnecks. But the league's terrible. There's no way. I just have never seen something so bad.
It's just badly managed. Yeah. And also, it's spring. The whole point of spring is like, hey, it's football when there's normally not football, which means you have no other competition with other football. And now NBA is slowing down as far as the number of games. Like this is when, you should be taking advantage of this window. You're competing with early season baseball and NBA games that it's very easy to schedule around. Like you have a awesome window as sport, and this weekend would be great. There's going to be one NBA game on, or maybe two, but again, easy to schedule around. And then you have no golf major. You have baseball, but we're still in May. Like this is a great window to have competitive football games that people can bet on. Just wild.
What's that?
I was going to say to Colby's point too. The reason you need private ownership is that's where the passion to try to win comes from.
The competitiveness,
that's how you build an identity with your city by having a local owner and a local team playing at a local venue and building some sort of local, vibes. Not having the entire league owned by or all the teams owned by the league, and obviously the partnership with the NFL is clearly pushing towards of some sort of culmination of testing St. Louis out for when the NFL wants to move a team back there. Why else is everything gravitating towards the city? It's a tryout for the city of St. Louis. Give them all these games. Let's throw some extra revenue. We really fucked them when we moved that team back to LA. Like, who knows? This is probably still like a slight kickback in that way.
And I just don't believe also, like, it's fishy. I think they want, like, Georgetown University, Howard University have football stadiums within, within like 2 miles, 4 miles of Aldi Stadium. Incarnate Word plays in San Antonio. That's a 6,000 seat stadium, at least. That they could do the like.
Do they have like a
cost much?
Do they have like a stadium credit that they're getting a disc? They have a promo code for Ford Field. Why are they using Ford Field? It makes no sense. Be realistic. Okay, hey, you can't fill up Ford Field. Honestly, one of the most fun I ever had going to a live football game was when the Eagles played the Chargers at Dignity Health Park, that tiny ass stadium. I mean, one. It was right after I won $200,000 on DraftKings, so I was in a great mood.
It's pretty
cool. Eagles won the game. The Eagles fan base took over. It was a great trip. I got great seats, but also every seat was great. Yeah. There was like 15,000 people. It was sold out. There was still a ton of crowd noise. You didn't have to wait forever to get a beer. And it was to go to the bathroom, whatever. And it was an awesome experience. Like the ticket prices were still low because it was a small stadium. It was really just lean. Who's cares? I don't know. What's the benefit of playing at Ford Field? You're not going to fill it up.
Yeah, I hate to always bring up European soccer, but you look at some of these small towns in England that have soccer stadiums, and it's like they start as a small stadium, and as they work their way up, they add on to the stadium. It seems like, again, if you were creating some sort of pyramid scheme or way to extract value from a corporation, you might do something like this, where you're like, yeah, we'll rent this giant stadium. We'll do a deal with the stadium. We'll get a nice 20% kickback into our checking accounts. And who cares? No one cares about the football anyway. Like, that's literally how the business meetings go.
Yeah. I mean, what would it cost to like Incarnate Word? Like, first off, in Texas, whether it's Incarnate Word or not, there's a football stadium on every street corner.
Yeah.
Right?
Also, so you're using these college football stadiums during off times. They probably could use NIL money, or whatever, showcase the school. Like, wouldn't Incarnate Word want I imagine there's some value of Incarnate Word having their football program shown on national TV. And maybe it's as simple as a trade out,
especially right after
Ford
Cam
Field
Ward got drafted.
Ford Field isn't getting any benefit by having more publicity, but a small college program like Colby's, and you could do stuff with the school, like, hey, here's some fly Cam Ward in or whatever. Like, these people,
it's like they don't understand sports. Like, Cameron Indoor Stadium is one of the smallest stadiums in college basketball, but that thing is never sold out every fucking game because they create that element, and then it's hard to get into. So when you get a ticket, you're like, hell yeah, I got a ticket into Cameron Indoor Stadium. That's the way you should be building your sport. But the sad part is if like one of our listeners on the UFL gambling podcast, like he got season tickets to the Roughnecks. I don't understand how you're supposed to build a fan base of the league if this is what's happening week in, week out. If you're like, well, imagine being a DC fan. You're like, what the fuck? We got to play in St. Louis now? What the fuck?
Beer snake can't get the beer snake that long.
So I'm on the Incarnate Ward website. They have a form where you can request to rent any of their baseball, their softball, Benson Stadium, or their convention center. And according to a little sleuthing on the internet, I want both of you to give me a guess on what you think it would cost to be renting the parking lot and the stadium for a football game.
For what was the school?
Incarnate Ward.
$25,000.
Colby?
10,000.
The estimate was around $1,500.
What? Why?
I'm sorry. $2,000 with parking.
So come on.
You get the stadium and the parking for about $2,000. Now there are operating costs, so I'm sure you want to hire, whatever. We know the
hilarious.
racket around concessions, but why wouldn't you do something like this? You know they're not opening the dome in Detroit for $1,500.
Well, what's hilarious, man, is I saw right before we went live that like Detroit is doing the first like 2,000 fans, like they're going to get 2,000 fans, is going to get Jake Bates bobbleheads from the league.
Wow, they're going to have extra bobbleheads.
Well, first off, it's like, well, wait, you got money for that bobblehead price? You could have got fucking game at
Oh my God.
at Eastern
Hold
Michigan
on.
Stadium. Yeah,
We're buying the Jake. We're going to get a Jake Bates bobblehead.
Okay. I gotta not to get too distracted from shitting on the UFL, but so I sent it in the group text.
And real quick, and if anyone can get their hands on one of those Jake Bates bobbleheads, we will trade you SGPN swag for it.
Well, they'll be in the UFL store for $6,000 after next.
No,
So-
this could be a hot topic. This could be a hot.
So this is great. I'm on the UFL subreddit trying to keep up with the league. And this guy posts, have you guys seen this? This is from, well, actually, I don't know if I should pronounce his name, but I know the league was not printing money, but this is kind of sad. Am I the only one who thinks this? And it's a link to the UFL shop. And maybe this guy's a listener because it's a link to all these game balls that we've been making, you know, the Antonio Edwards Outlaws game used helmet for $299. And I responded, I don't mind them doing it, but the pricing is ridiculous. They should be giving this stuff away or selling it dirt cheap to reward actual fans. Very pro fan take. Yeah. The comments I received back are hilarious. One guy writes in, I'm sure most of these items will sell. Another guy, people buy old league memorabilia. Even outdated as this is someone's who bought this and stored it literally for years. Memorabilia isn't a charity. It's an insanely lucrative business. And the guy goes, but they won't get you out of debt selling for $5 a pop. None of this shit is going to sell.
Dude, what? Yeah. Fred Williams probably works at a fucking Home Depot right now.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
You could, he would love $300. Also, I go, right, but selling 0 items won't make you any money. And you turn off the fans. That comment got downvoted. Who are these honks for the league? It's okay to criticize the league.
I mean, come on.
They're not real.
How many times have we jumped at fucking Reddit? Those are fucking idiots. They'll defend the league at all costs. Oh yeah, why not do another game in St. Louis? Right, it's best fans. Well, they completely ignore the integrity of the fucking league, and they've been idiots since day one. I question even if they truly like football. You know.
I question them. All right, let's. Anything else, Kramer?
I mean, I was gonna say, I think like it has gotten to the point where I almost want to make a couple phone calls.
Well, and also too, we're debating it, but I do think we should do our next Patreon, me versus UFL Jeff, because you know you have in your mind like, oh, these guys can't be that incompetent. They can't be this big pieces of shit or just whatever, like lazy, don't care. But then actually dealing with them, I'm like, oh yeah, no, all this makes sense because I've actually interacted with people that were working on their other side. All right, before we get to the picks, of course, shout out to Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy, get in on the Underdog Fantasy pick'em. I've been having fun with the extender over on the NBA. Cashed a nice entry. Hopefully you guys listen to the NBA show. Get in Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN. Deposit match up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you use the promo code SGPN. Kramer and I have been doing the best ball episodes, Best Ball Mania. They're giving away $2 million. That's right, $2 million. $25 entry fee, $2 million the first. They're giving away, I think, 15 million total.
Million a second.
So if you want to become a fantasy football millionaire, you got 40 shots if you get the $1,000 deposit bonus. They're great about hooking you up with profit boosts. Every time I log in, there's a new profit boost for me to try, and they have tons of sports, including fake sports like the United Football League. Head over to underdogfantasy.com, promo code SGPN. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm, your home for AI backed picks and props. MLB, the MLB prop show. If you haven't checked that out, they've been dominating thanks in big part to Rhythm. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM get you the 7-day free trial. SGPN 25 will get you 25% off the monthly plan. SGPN 50% off the annual plan. But it's really fun, easy to put together these models, and it's good to have. Oh, I'm like an eye test gut feeling guy, but I also like to have the data back it up. And Ryan, you'll like this one. We haven't even talked about the Knicks collapse, but Rhythm loves Tyrese Halliburton next game under 29.5 points and assists. It's one of their favorite plays. Tyrese Halliburton under 29.5 points and assists. But again, get involved today. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Last but not least, mybookie.ag, home of the MyBookie money bag. Is a promo code SGPN, 100% match up to $1,000. They got UFL lines. They got I think it's college football win totals starting to poke up there. So many ways to get down. Do it all over at mybookie.ag, accepting customers from all over this great world. MyBookie.ag, promo code SGPN, 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions do apply on the bonus. MyBookie.ag, promo code SGPN.
Basketball. The NBA is a hilarious league. My take on that is I completely can appreciate the references to the Reggie Miller game.
Yeah.
Slightly different situation. I mean, there was a stretch there where the Pacers were like had hit 8 straight 3-pointers down the stretch. So one team being hot and the other team cooling off a little bit isn't necessarily a hard choke. That they should have won the game though.
I thought you were making the connection with their draft lottery of the UFL and the NBA. Good friends.
Well, at least the NBA, like their logistics have nailed things. They've done things very well. They've knocked things out of the board. When the envelope needed to be cold, it was cold. If the UFL tried to freeze an envelope,
oh, no.
Dear God.
Caleb Williams, no, don't play in our league. We got. We got Dresser Win coming in.
Here's what I think. Not only are we gonna Colby next week, we're doing a Patreon episode where we break down the UFL Jeff situation. I think I'm gonna make some phone calls. Every single spring league has ended with us finding out about a grift and the players not getting paid. What if we're the network that saves the players from not getting paid?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
All right.
Now, if we're talking about play on the field, guys, I don't know if you guys caught this, but last week, all teams that were outgained won. Right?
No, I said that's the key to winning in the UFL is having less yards. It makes no sense, but it's a strong
7-1 in their last 8 games.
Strong trend
in their last 8 games.
The last thing you want in this league is yards.
And look, I got into it with from our last episode. Some people tagged me in some bullshit and say, well, yards can happen. This is football. Interception here, you deprive yards. Well, I did have some time as I was on about 14 airplanes over the past 2 weeks, but they've played 32 games, right? 18 games the team with more yards have won. 14 times the team with more yards has lost. That's not good. That's like 44%.
It's crazy.
And to compare that, first off, it's also I want to key in on 6 of those games they were outgained by over 100 yards and they lost. Right? That's horrible. And to compare that to this is why it bothers me when people think, well, yeah, in football this things happen. Well, I only just quickly grabbed the first 32 games of the NFL season last year, and it only happened 10 times. And guess what? A lot of those were like by 6 yards or 4 yards or 5 yards.
Yeah, it's close.
Only 3 games in the first 32 games of the NFL season was it over 100 yards, and one of those was a game with multiple pick sixes. So,
Kramer, I like this. He's proving how the NFL is a great league. Yeah. Good work, Colby.
Well, also, I pulled up the first 2 weeks of the college football season. You could either do this as the first 32 games, or you could pull it up with the first 2 weeks. To be fair, and it was at 12% of the time 12% of the time if you get outgained in so just to compare it to other sports or other variations of football, this is how ridiculous the fucking league is. This is why I say it's a gimmick league. It's a gimmick league, but you can get a 3-point play and that foo bullshit onside kick. It is a gimmick ass league, and you can't do that. You can't do that because that hurts the fandom as well. It's like I just watched. If you watched the games last week, you saw a couple teams dominate. Michigan got outgained by over like 200 yards, and they won. That's not good for the league. That's not a good thing for the league.
Roughnecks, we got what we deserve.
I would say that consistently losing when being outgained is, as we know with our spreadsheets and numbers, that would be a team set for a little regression. So consistently, that's interesting. It almost makes it seem like the games are fixed and the outcomes don't matter.
Kramer, let's do it. Week 9 picks. What do we got?
All right. So we talked a little bit. We're 44 minutes into the show. We talked a little bit about the fact that this is a Brahmas home game being played in St. Louis. A lot of teams going to be playing home games in St. Louis over the next couple of weeks.
We got slides.
Oh, we do. Yeah. Pull them up, Colby. Let's go.
And just a reminder,
I have no power. Ever since we switched platforms, I have no power. I don't like this.
What? I'll give you access. You need to have the power. I can't believe you don't have the power. I got to look into that. All right. St. Louis now on the road laying 6.5 in their own building. 42.5 is the total. I was trying.
Do they make them use the road locker room?
Yeah, really. I was struggling with how to take that one. Brahmas plus 230 on the money line.
I don't.
Other thing, can I? Here's the craziest part of this. They did everything in their power to screw the Brahmas over by backloading their home games. This would have been the third straight home game for the Brahmas in prime time in the Friday night window. What are you? If you think they're good enough to be in the prime time window, don't you book the fucking stadium?
It's like
give me the Battlehawks. I don't care.
It's like that woman who owns the league. It's like, where are we at this Friday for that primetime game? San Antonio again? No. Fuck that. Getting it out of that building.
Well, and so annoying because I had a rule. Hey, I'm not betting against the Battlehawks at home.
No.
Which they won, but they didn't cover this small spread. Which
they were not the fucking better team.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter, Colby.
Beat up the whole fucking game.
That's the
bullshit
point.
League.
Now, Colby, do you think what is St. Louis gonna do? They have nothing to play for.
I have no idea.
Position doesn't matter.
Got to take the points. Got to take the points. And because you've shown the disrespect to Brahma Nation that you are not more important than a high school graduation or renting Incarnate Words football stadium for $1,500. So they're going to be ticked off. All right. And Peyton Party and company. Well, actually, fuck, they're starting Kellen Mond. No,
yeah, that's the other problem.
You got to take the Battlehawks.
The Kellen Mond news. And what is it?
He's so bad.
What is St. Louis going to do with their starters, Colby? Do you have any idea? I'm taking St. Louis just because I gotta fade Kellen Mond. I have it written on my arm. It's like that, where Severance, whether you're trying to like tell your outside, my innie is just grinding UFL tape, and it wrote on my own arm, "Do not bet on Kellen Mond," so that when I become an outie and I host the show, I remember, oh no, you can't bet on Kellen Mond. So that's to me, and yeah, St. Louis is at home. It's just that simple for me.
Yeah, I'm with you. You got to take St. Louis. The more I think about it,
yeah. There wasn't much to think about here, guys.
They got to milk their city. Why would you ever go against St. Louis? They're going to find a way to make sure this happens.
Which NFL team, or is St. Louis the team that comes back when they expand to Europe? It's the St. Louis Bengals. Oh, Colby, that's the smartest NFL take I've heard you have in a while.
Put Joe Burrow in a dome. I would sell some tickets.
I mean, I was behind the tush push, Kramer. Maybe you weren't. Maybe you were like that.
Well, his Giants voted against it, Colby. He's been real shamed.
And what is my take? I'm pro tush push. In fact, I did a show this morning where we broke it down. We talked about why it's a great play and why the NFL should take more from the great sport of rugby. Arlington, Memphis. This game is in Memphis, 9 a.m. here on the West Coast. Renegades laying 4.5. 40.5 is the total. Memphis plus 165 home dogs. Colby, what are we doing here? This game doesn't mean anything, correct?
None of the games do.
0. They've done everything they
Ryan's
can.
running gag. I mean, Luis Perez was playing good, but they didn't get it done on the road against the Defenders. They pushed. They had a chance to win that game, couldn't get it done. And then the Showboats Brahmas went to OT, and they do that dumbass alternating 2-point conversion.
So stupid.
It's like when you catch a fish and you take it off the hook, you throw it back in, and you put you catch the same fucking fish. It's just amusing. This is ridiculous. I don't know what to do. Well, I would say this with Arlington's been a bit of a roller coaster this season, and
they're way better. The league made them lose a couple games. You know what I mean? Like they should be. Yeah, in the but come on, picture.
They've had some bad defense. I mean, you let up 33 points to this Defenders team.
The way
in Bob Stoops' comment about the dumbass league rules. He forgot he was mic'd up. He's like, this you got terrible fucking rules.
Oh, Dean Blandino.
I think I know what Memphis has won. What 2 games now?
Yeah, no. And Jim Turner just said their head coach. I know you're probably scrambling to
offensive line.
Who the fuck Jim Turner is? But he said, man for man, I think we have the toughest team in the league.
Okay.
It's a damn shame that I don't know if he knows this, but they're eliminated from the playoffs.
Okay.
I actually think the King of Spring gets up. His books is doing well.
It's interesting though. They're 3-5, but they have a plus 26 point differential. To Colby's point, like they probably should be better than they are, but they're just not getting it done. I can't trust them to cover 4.5. And I think the Showboats got a little confidence with that win. I'm taking Memphis here as a home dog. Colby, you're taking Arlington on the road now that they know they've been eliminated. That was a dream crushing game for them.
They know they're eliminated, but they know they're like a really good team. So
I don't think they know that.
This is the opportunity to ride them. They've already fucked them over, but I think King of Spring, he's talking about retirement. They do have the 3rd best offense in the league.
Oh wow,
that's what
8 teams in the league, Sean.
Yeah, 3rd is. I mean, you would think they'd be a playoff team, considering their top 4 in offense and defense. Another reason why it sucks. Give me these Renegades. No one's going to be at this fucking game. These Renegades are going to come in there. The King of Spring gets it done.
If I'm not mistaken, they have gone undefeated against teams that haven't made the playoffs. Have the Memphis Showboats made the playoff? No, they're not going to be in the playoffs. Give me Arlington.
Yeah,
if you look at,
they're going to win, but they're not going to cover.
If you break down Arlington's schedule, it's pretty interesting. They literally are.
Plus, I love the idea of fading you guys. You guys have been ice cold.
That's true.
So have I, but one of us has to get hot.
Well, I don't want to do well in the league and then bring validation through my great betting picks. But yeah, no, they're literally a gatekeeper team. They've lost to playoff teams and they've beaten the not playoff teams.
But
they like I said, they have the 3rd best offense and the 3rd best defense. So you figure it out. How are they not in the playoffs?
Colby's not happy with this league. He is not happy. Michigan, Birmingham. This game's at noon on Saturday. Going for that early morning Saturday doubleheader. Michigan, Birmingham. This should be a game of the week type talk here. 2 of the best rosters in the league for sure. Although Michigan playing funny business with their quarterback. Colby thinks for nefarious reasons. This line moved a bunch. This morning it was Birmingham +1, +1.5. It's now Michigan +2.5, +105 on the money line. 43.5 is the total. I've heard reports of large betting groups backing the Stallions. I've heard reports of news and quarterback injuries driving this price. Not many people are betting on the UFL. That's the reality of why the line moves so much. Colby, are you taking Birmingham considering Michigan doesn't really have a quarterback?
Well, Michigan's never beaten them in this era.
Yeah. Yeah.
In '83 they did get them. In case you're wondering, Sean.
83.
They went 1-1 in the first in the Trump USFL. But Skip Holtz has their number. Mike Nolan's a fucking idiot, and I think Jamar Smith, Birmingham's offense is all of a sudden heated up with Jamar Smith.
Ham Newton, Colby, please.
Ham
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
And I think what caused the line move is the Panthers signed Colby Suits, who you might remember from.
Well, does Colby know where he went?
Yeah, Colby. Where did Colby Suits go?
I did think I do know this, but what is this?
Southeast Louisiana.
Son of a bitch.
Or University of Louisiana Monroe.
I was gonna say I thought it was Monroe.
Oh, you're right.
I think you're right. The Warhawks. Yeah.
Wait, no, he went to both.
Okay.
Really?
Because I'm looking at some highlights. Yeah.
Wait, did he also go to Houston Christian? Maybe
Yep.
that's a high school. Yeah.
Oh,
And he
the
was,
CVS. The CVS. That's
and
the CVS college.
Oh yeah, it is. You're right. And he played in the he played for the Jets too. Let's see if I don't know if he ever got in.
He was. I think that was a spring situation.
Yeah, 0 game logs for Colby Suits. But I think the fact that they signed him is an indicator that they might be playing him because Bryce Perkins has been ruled out for this game. And again, no one wants to play their guys. They don't want to avoid injuries. I guess you got to take the Stallions.
How do they fuck this up? I mean, this should be for home field.
Yeah,
This should be for home field in the playoffs. This should be like the game, like that. Everyone, this is why Kramer's right. It's like, why would they do this? It's like they're sabotaging their own league. This would be huge, even if you move the game. Like this has happened over the history of time in the NFL and shit back in the day when the NFL wasn't super fucking rich. Like this has happened before when you just pivot and you move it to a local stadium close by, and they don't do that. So this game has no value, and it's puzzling.
So Colby Suits originally went to Louisiana Monroe, the Warhawks, where he played for a number of years. He entered the transfer portal multiple times before finally
ahead of his time.
He didn't transfer before finally transferring in 2022 to Southeastern Louisiana. And then,
but he didn't start there because Cole Kelly started there, right?
No, then later that year in the fall, in October, transferred to Houston Christian.
That makes sense. Okay.
And it didn't seem like that went well. 6'3", 222. There you go. Everything you need to know. Give me Birmingham. I'm not making this mistake again.
Yeah. Fading Birmingham. Now, especially on these small spreads, like they've been fraudulent. Yes. But I think in a meaningless game at home with the Panthers playing likely a guy off the street, I think is a bad spot.
Ham Newton versus not a.
Is Ham Newton going to start? Does he play the whole game? Does anyone have any idea what the hell is going on?
No.
Okay, fair enough. Last game, Kramer.
Sunday, 1 p.m. Nice. They're getting us ready for football, Sean. DC Defenders. Well, this isn't real football. They're just getting our body clocks ready. DC Defenders head to Houston, Texas to take on the Roughnecks. Defenders -3.5, -170 on the money line. Roughnecks +145. 45.5 is the total.
God, this Roughnecks team is so bad.
I was going to say
we got to take them though, right?
They're a
There's
little
no
spicy.
value.
They're a little spicy at times.
Hearing the players pissed off that the games aren't in Arlington or DC.
But doesn't that help? Doesn't that help DC then?
I have in the playoffs, baby. I have no. Give me Houston. I feel like they might have something more to play for.
They're so. What do you mean? They have nothing to play for. Neither teams do. I think DC's pissed off. I think they're gonna have a chip on their shoulder.
Houston now had like 400 yards of offense last week.
Yeah, great. That's you're making my point.
That's not good.
That means they're gonna lose. Give me DC laying the points. They do have a chip on their shoulder, and I think and Houston is just so poorly coached. I'm pissed. I'm pissed. I was on them last time. I mean, they lose a game again where they had outgained the Panthers, coming off the game where they were up 25-6 and somehow didn't cover. They were getting fucking 6 points and they were up 25-6. This team I can never bet on again.
I like this.
You like
I've come around on Tamu. I think maybe he's playing it. Well, now that we're not going to have the Spring King in the postseason, MVP Jordan Tamu.
I do. Just,
he might be looking to pad his numbers. Yeah.
Lay it.
Sean,
Let's
I
go.
got some breaking news that EJ Perry will be starting for the Showboats. You guys have fun with the Showboats play.
EJ Perry. Let's go.
I don't have the Showboats.
Oh, did you? I thought you did.
No.
Versus the Spring Queen.
I said the Renegades were the gatekeeper team. They beat the bad teams and they lose to the good teams. DC wins this one. This DC team seems most likely to be wanting to win.
I think they're gonna have a chip on their shoulder.
To stay fit for the
now.
postseason.
Any totals you guys want to toss in with the meaningless kind of games? Will that mean there's some poor tackling? The DPS All Football Talk in the YouTube chat saying, will we see that god awful NFL preseason hug tackle stuff in these last 2 weeks? There could be an angle where it's like, hey, defense, you're not trying quite as hard. You're eliminated from the playoffs. Maybe some letdown spots here.
Yeah, I'll take the over on the. I think the best play is probably the over the DC Houston game.
Okay. What do you, that's 45.5.
Well, that's because Houston's been. DC scores 30 most weeks, and Houston has been willing to score enough and keep up in these shootouts. I like that. I'll join Colby on that one. I'll also throw one in.
Yeah,
I think you have to take the Michigan Panther under with the Stallions, especially with the uncertainty with the quarterback position for Michigan.
Yeah, I'm with you.
That seems like a big number for these two teams to get to.
And I'm going to also toss in the under on the Battlehawks game because their offense hasn't been great, and I could see the Brahmas not doing shit. And
the league will do whatever they can to support them.
I ain't touching the Friday night game.
Colby, so you're tossing in the total over 45. I'm with Kramer on the Panther Stallions under 43.5. And then the Battlehawks Brahmas under 42.5. All right, 3 locks and a dog. Our very successful 3 lock formula. Kramer, what do you got?
It hasn't been super successful over the last couple of weeks. We're gonna lock up the Birmingham and the under.
Birmingham minus 2.5, under 43.5,
and then we'll also lock up DC.
DC minus 3.5. Your dog.
All right,
favorites.
This is gonna be a little tricky to navigate. My dog will be.
It's Houston.
Parlay all the money lines favorites. All 4 money line favorites.
My dog, give me the Showboats and EJ Perry.
Good luck, Sean. I mean that. Good luck.
Thank you. Now Arlington's not that good. For my locks,
Memphis is worse though.
Give me St. Louis minus 6.5. Give me DC laying the 3.5, and give me what else? I'll take Birmingham minus the 2.5. Colby,
did you want to ask me what my parlay pays?
Sure.
Plus 490.
Okay, there you go.
Dog.
It's a real dog.
That's more than a cup of coffee.
Colby.
Yeah, let's lock up Birmingham minus 2.5. Let's lock up. Let's go with St. Louis. The league loves them. League play. Battlebirds minus the points. I will take the over 45.5 in that DC Roughnecks game as a lock. And the dog is those Roughnecks. They're barking. All right, putting up almost 500 yards of offense.
Kiss of death. All right. Good times as always. Make sure you check out Colby and the UFL Gambling Podcast. Tune into VSiN.
CFL too. CFL game.
CFL is back.
Whoa, we didn't agree to that.
Bleep that out.
We got a real league. All right.
When does that
been around for a long time?
Are tariffs allowing the CFL podcast?
I haven't
the tariffs
checked.
could mess up that.
When are you going to try to export these podcasts to Canada?
Well, I mean, we sneak them in, man.
When's the league start?
June 6th, man. We're gonna have a huge tits parlay episode. Yeah.
They play football in the summer up there. They don't have summer.
Yeah, but they got a real kickoff too. So it's not like your phony NFL bullshit. All right. So
they
check
still,
it out, buddy.
They still give you a point for punting the ball.
What do you
into
call
the
that?
end zone, right?
What do you call that zesty move? The LaRouche.
A rouge.
The rouge.
Oh, nice rouge, Sean.
My wife has some rouge in her bathroom. I'll go check on that.
Nice. Yeah, I keep it next to my potpourri.
Good times as always. And yeah, VSiN show tomorrow night, 11 o'clock East, wherever you get your VSiN. That's VSiN.com, YouTube TV, Sirius XM. We're gonna have Colby on for a segment talking some early college football win totals, talking some Circa contest strategy with man in the box.
No huge tits parlays. God.
Maybe. I mean,
maybe next.
Colby, you might need to
next week.
You might need to rename it because Father Time remains undefeated. The Pam Anderson.
Really?
Well, she was discovered at a CFL game. But we could switch that. We could pivot. We could add in some broad with huge
Sydney Sweeney.
Isn't any chance Brittany Mahomes is Canadian?
Oh yeah. Google.
Sean, we could change it to the sugar tits parlay if you would.
Okay.
I like maple. You gotta use maple.
The maple tits parlay.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
I was gonna get a programming note. We will be back Monday night.
Yeah.
Happy
Memorial Day. Wait. I heard it. Hold on.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean Second Money Green. He's Ryan.
Happy Memorial Day.
Kramer. Let it ride.